Welcome back to The Deep Dive. I'm your host, and as always, I am joined by our resident expert to tackle a stack of source material that is, well, today it is heavy.
It's certainly the file with the most dust kicked up around it, historically speaking.
Yeah, it might be the heaviest file we've ever put on the desk. We are talking about a biographical overview of Jesus Christ.
Right.
Now, before you, the listener, tune out thinking, oh, I know this story, I've seen the movies, I went to Sunday school, I want to hit the pause button.
Yeah, we really need to set the ground rules for how we're approaching this.
Exactly. The goal of the deep dive, our specific mission today, is to take the source material and unpack it as if we are seeing it for the very first time.
Like a cold case.
Like a cold case. We aren't here to preach a sermon. We aren't here to, debate abstract theology or take political sides.
No. We are here to look at a narrative. We have a specific biography provided by our source material and wanted to see how the text itself lays out the life of the man it identifies as the founder of Christianity.
So we're stripping away the stained glass and the cathedral architecture for a second. We're going to walk the timeline.
From birth to ascension.
Right. From birth in Judea to the ascension. We're going to look at the facts as they are presented in the text, the dates, the geography, the conflicts, and the resolution.
And that setting is vital. I mean, you cannot understand this text without the backdrop.
The geographical and historical backdrop.
Right. The source places us in Judea. But not just Judea as some isolated dot on a map. This is Judea within the Roman Empire.
Which is a huge distinction. This isn't some fairy tale kingdom with polite knights and castles.
No, it is gritty. It is occupied territory.
Yeah.
You have Roman soldiers in the streets. You have a local religious hierarchy trying to maintain a very, very fragile order.
And a population that is just stressed out.
Exactly. They are taxed, they are policed, and they are looking for answers. It is a political and social powder keg.
And into this specific volatile environment, the source introduces our subject. So let's start at the beginning. The origin story.
Let's do it.
The source gives us a date right off the bat, and it's one of those facts that always makes people double take. It identifies his birth date as 4 BC.
Which, implies he was born 4 years before Christ.
Right, which sounds like a paradox.
It sounds like a typo.
Yeah.
But it's actually just a quirk of history. When the calendars were calculated centuries later, the people doing the math were off by a few years.
So the source here pinpoints 4 BC as the likely arrival date. But aside from the calendar math, the lineage is where the narrative really asserts itself.
It really does. Usually in a biography of a historical figure, you start with a pedigree.
Right, like he was the son of a duke or the son of a wealthy merchant.
But who does our source list?
We have the mother, the Virgin Mary, and we have the father, Joseph.
And this is a massive, but the source makes a rigorous distinction here.
It puts a giant asterisk next to Joseph's name.
It's essentially, yes. It notes Joseph as the legal father.
Right.
In the eyes of the census takers, the tax collectors, the neighbors, Joseph is the dad. But the source explicitly states he was not the biological father.
Which goes straight to the conception claim.
Right. The text claims that Mary was a virgin when Jesus was conceived, and that she was found to be with child from the Holy Spirit.
I want to pause on that because it changes the genre of the story immediately.
It absolutely does.
If you're reading a biography of Napoleon, you do not get a supernatural origin story on page 1.
No, you get a birthplace and a normal set of parents. By including this, the source is signaling something very specific to us as readers.
It's telling you not to expect a normal trajectory.
Precisely. If the origin is divine, if the rules of biology were suspended for his conception, then the capabilities, the wisdom, and the impact are likely going to be off the charts as well.
It sets the stakes at a cosmic level before the protagonist is even out of the cradle.
It frames the entire life as an intervention from the outside.
Now, speaking of the cradle, usually biographies give us the formative years, the school days, the early friendships, the mundane stuff. Does the source give us that texture for Jesus?
Surprisingly, no. It is almost radio silence.
Yeah.
We have the birth, and then we have a massive gap. The source fast forwards through the toddler years, the elementary school years. It's all blank.
Except for one single event.
Right. The childhood glimpse, the source zooms in when he is 12 years old.
Why 12? Is that a significant age in this context?
In that culture, 12 is right on the cusp of adulthood. You're not quite a man, but you're definitely not a baby anymore.
You're expected to start understanding your place in the world.
Exactly. So the family is on a pilgrimage to Jerusalem.
Which frames them as a devout family.
Right. They were following the customs. They were traveling in a caravan, probably with the whole village.
It's a road trip.
A chaotic, festive, crowded road trip. And in the middle of this, the source describes the separation.
He gets lost.
He gets separated from his parents. And, looking at this detail, it's tense. Because he wasn't just gone for an hour. The source says he was found days later.
Days later. I mean, imagine the panic. You're in the big city. Jerusalem is the metropolis compared to their hometown, and your 12-year-old is gone.
It's a nightmare scenario. You're checking everywhere.
But the discovery, the moment they finally find him, is what justifies including this specific story in the biography.
Right. They find him in the temple.
And is he crying? Is he looking for the lost and found?
No. He is sitting with the elders. And the source says he is discussing significant matters.
Discussing significant matters? That's a heavy phrase for a preteen.
It is. These elders are the scholars of their day. They are the experts in law, scripture, and theology.
And here's a boy from a backwater town in Galilee, not just listening, but engaging them.
Discussing. Holding his own.
It's an analysis point for us. Because this isn't just a cute kid's story to throw into chapter 1.
No, it's a proof of concept. It's heavy foreshadowing. It shows that even before he had any formal training, before he had a public profile, he had an innate grasp of these complex divine topics.
It tells the listener that the teacher wasn't made, he was born.
He was already operating on a completely different level.
It's almost like the source is saying, remember that divine origin story we told you about? Here is the proof at age 12.
Exactly. But then just as quickly as the camera focuses on that temple scene, the shutter clicks and it goes black again.
We don't see him at 15. We don't see him at 21.
Silence. Until we hit the transition to adulthood.
Right. Body section 1 of our outline, the preparation.
And this is where the narrative really kicks into gear. We are introduced to a new character.
John the Baptist.
The source identifies him as a prophet.
And his role here is to bridge the gap between the private life and the public life.
Right. He baptizes Jesus. Now, usually baptism in this context is seen as a ritual of cleansing or repentance.
But for Jesus, the narrative frames this as the launch.
This is the inauguration.
Okay, so if you are launching a campaign, whether it's a political campaign or a religious movement, you usually capitalize on that momentum.
Right. You get baptized, the crowd cheers, you book a speaking tour.
You hit the cities. But the source says he does the exact opposite.
Immediately post-baptism, he vanishes again.
Into the Judean desert.
The wilderness.
Yeah.
And not for a weekend retreat. He goes there to fast and meditate for 40 days and 40 nights.
I really want to dig into that number, 40 days.
Is a recurring biblical span of time, often associated with testing or judgment.
But think about the physical reality of that. 40 days of fasting.
It's starvation.
It is the edge of death. The source emphasizes this physical challenge. He is stripping away every comfort, every necessity.
He is intentionally weakening the body to focus the spirit. It's a level of discipline that is, well, it's hard for us to even comprehend.
But he discovers he isn't alone out there.
No. This brings us to the supernatural conflict.
The devil appears.
And this isn't a brief cameo, it's a confrontation.
The source notes the frequency. The devil tries to tempt him 3 times. Why 3?
It implies persistence, a barrage. The adversary is trying to find a crack in the armor.
Like a stress test.
Exactly. If I can't get you on physical hunger, I'll try pride. If I can't get you on pride, I'll try power. The devil is kicking the tires of this new Messiah to see if he breaks.
And the outcome?
Jesus rejected all 3 temptations. And then the source uses a very specific phrase. He sent the devil away.
Sent him away? That sounds authoritative.
Like a king dismissing a servant. He didn't flee from the devil, he commanded him.
So looking at the narrative arc, think about what just happened.
Right. He has the divine origin. He has the innate wisdom shown at 12.
Now he has the physical discipline and the spiritual authority over evil. The preparation phase is complete.
He's battle-tested. He is ready.
And now he heads to Galilee, which brings us to body section 2, the ministry in Galilee.
This is the public launch, and the source describes his work in 2 distinct buckets.
Preacher and healer.
And you really need both to understand the phenomena described in the text. The miracles are the marketing, in a way. They draw the crowd.
But the teaching is the product.
Let's talk about the miracles first, because the source lists some greatest hits here, and they cover a wide spectrum of reality.
It's not just one type of magic trick.
No, it's a comprehensive mastery over the physical world. It's almost like a checklist of things humans simply cannot control.
Let's break them down. First up, calming of a storm.
That's mastery over nature. Meteorology. Imagine being on a small boat in a squall. The chaos, the wind, the absolute terror.
And he speaks, and the wind stops.
That is terrifying power if you think about it. It's elemental.
Next on the list, walking on water.
Physics, gravity, surface tension. He's showing he isn't bound by the laws of the physical universe that bind the rest of us.
Then we have the feeding of the 5,000.
Provision, economics, taking scarcity of few loaves and fish and creating abundance out of thin air.
It answers the most basic human need, hunger.
And finally, general healing powers.
Biology, reversing sickness, fixing what is broken in the human body.
So when you stack these up mastery over nature, physics, economics, and biology, it's no wonder the source says word spread.
It's viral content in an oral culture. You can't keep that secret.
You'd have people saying, I saw a guy walk on the lake. I saw a guy feed an army with a basket.
The fame explodes. People are traveling miles just to get a glimpse of him.
But here is the pivot. The crowds come for the show, but once they are there, sitting on the hillside, he gives them a lecture.
The teachings and parables.
And the core message described in the source isn't just basic morality. It highlights an emphasis on forgiveness and unconditional love.
Which sounds soft at first. It sounds like something you put on a greeting card.
Until you apply it to the real world.
Because the source specifically notes the radical nature of this advice. He advised people to love everyone, specifically including one's enemies.
That's the hard part. That's the record scratch moment for the audience back then.
It's the impossible part for most people today, too.
Think about the context. In the Roman world, strength was a virtue. Dominance was a virtue. Revenge was justice.
And here is a man saying, love your enemy.
Your enemy might be the Roman soldier occupying your town, or the tax collector robbing you blind.
And Jesus is saying, love that guy.
It disrupts the entire social order. It disrupts the cycle of revenge. It's a completely upside-down way of viewing power.
He also introduces this concept of the kingdom of God,
which suggests an allegiance to something higher than Rome and higher than the local high priests.
It's highly political, even if it's framed as spiritual.
So you have this combination. Miracles that prove he has unprecedented power and teachings that demand a radically new way of living.
And this leads to a growing following. Recruitment happens over a period of time.
People aren't just listening anymore. They're committing. They're becoming disciples.
And the public perception starts to crystallize. The crowds begin to proclaim him with specific titles.
Son of David.
Which is a royal claim that's tying him to the lineage of kings.
And the Messiah.
The Savior. The anointed one who is supposed to deliver them.
Now usually, if a humble teacher hears people calling him king and Messiah in an occupied country, he might say, whoa, calm down.
Right. I don't want trouble with the Romans, guys. I'm just a philosopher.
Please don't get me arrested.
But how does Jesus respond, according to the source?
The source says he accepted the titles. He accepted Christ, which is the Greek translation for Messiah and Son of God.
And he went even further.
He declared that the people knowing this was a divine revelation from God.
So he's owning it completely.
He is leaning all the way in. He's saying, you're right to call me that, and God himself told you to say it.
That is a remarkably bold move.
Yeah.
And it brings us to the inevitable conflict.
You cannot claim to be the king and the Son of God without threatening the people currently in charge.
It sets him on a direct collision course, which leads us to body section 3, the Jerusalem conflict.
The roadshow heads to the capital.
And the timeline provided by the source is crucial here, arriving the week before the holiday of Passover.
Set the scene for us. What is Jerusalem like during Passover?
It's chaotic. It's the biggest event of the year. The population swells massively. Pilgrims are pouring in from all over the known world.
Religious fervor is at an absolute fever pitch.
And the Roman authorities are on high alert for riots. They know this is the exact time of year when rebellions spark.
And right into this tinderbox walks Jesus.
The source describes the reception, a warm, enthusiastic welcome at the city entrance.
The crowds are chanting, hailing him as Son of David and Son of God.
It's a coronation parade without the actual crown.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if you are the religious leaders watching this, you are terrified.
You're thinking, the Romans are going to see this massive crowd, they're going to see an uprising, and they are going to crush us all.
But Jesus doesn't just wave, smile, and find a quiet place to lay low. He goes straight to the temple and takes major action.
The temple incident.
He finds the moneylenders. Unscrupulous moneylenders, the source calls them.
And he expels them.
He physically drives them out. Now, think about the audacity of that act.
The temple is the center of economic and religious life.
These moneylenders are likely sanctioned by the authorities to be there. They pay for the privilege.
And Jesus is walking into the lobby of the central bank, flipping the tables and kicking everyone out.
He is asserting that he has authority over the house of God. He's acting like the owner.
It's a direct physical challenge to the establishment.
And if that wasn't enough to put a massive target on his back, the source mentions another major event noted during this period.
Raising of Lazarus.
Bringing a man back from the dead.
We've seen him heal the sick, but resurrection.
That's the ultimate line. If he can do that, he is virtually unstoppable. Death is the ultimate limit of human power, and he just walked right past it.
So understandably, the opposition rises.
The Jewish elders. The source identifies them as the primary antagonistic force at this stage.
What is their motivation? Is it purely theological disagreement?
The source points to his increasing popularity and his questioning of their authority.
It's about power.
It's a zero-sum game for them. If the people follow Jesus, the elders lose their grip on the populace. If he wins, they lose everything.
So the conspiracy begins, the elders conniving with priests to hatch a plan.
And the goal is simple. They need to kill him.
But they have a logistical problem. With the crowds cheering for him, calling him Son of David, they can't just arrest him in broad daylight.
It would cause an immediate riot.
They need a way to do it quietly. They need to get him when he's away from the crowds.
They need an insider.
Which brings us to body section 4, betrayal and arrest.
The deal.
They find Judas Iscariot,
one of the followers, one of the inner circle of 12.
The tragedy of this detail is profound. This is someone who ate with him, traveled with him, saw the miracles firsthand.
He heard the teachings on radical love, and yet he turns.
And the source tells us the specific price of the betrayal.
A bargain made for 30 silver coins.
It seems so transactional, so mundane for the betrayal of the supposed Son of God.
It puts a specific market value on the life of the teacher. It reduces him to a commodity.
So the deal is cut. The clock is ticking. We move to the last moments of freedom.
The source describes a final meal shared with the 12 apostles in Jerusalem.
It's an intimate moment before the storm breaks.
And notice the contrast the narrative builds here. Inside the room, there is fellowship and final instructions. Outside, the authorities are gathering.
And then the act of betrayal itself. Judas identifies Jesus to the authorities.
And the method he uses is chilling. It's dark. The soldiers need to know which one is Jesus. They don't have descriptions or photos.
So Judas uses a signal.
He kisses him on the cheek.
A traditional greeting of friendship, weaponized to mark him for death.
It's cinematic and it's cruelty.
Following the signal, the arrest is immediate. He is taken by the soldiers and officials.
And the legal machinery starts grinding him up. He is taken to the high priest for the initial trial.
For interrogation. And the source is blunt about the treatment. It wasn't a polite inquiry. He was tortured and condemned.
What was the specific charge in this religious court?
Claiming to be the Son of God.
Blasphemy. To the high priest, that is the ultimate crime. Claiming to be divine is punishable by death under their religious law.
But here is the legal wrinkle. The religious leaders in occupied Judea couldn't execute people on their own.
Correct. They didn't have the authority for capital punishment under Roman occupation. They needed the state to do it.
So we move to body section 5, the Roman trial and crucifixion.
Enter Pontius Pilate, the Roman governor.
Now, watch the shift in the accusation here. Do the priests go to Pilate and say, hey, this guy claims to be the Son of God?
No. They know Pilate doesn't care about Jewish theology. Pilate cares about Roman order.
He cares about protecting Caesar's interests.
So they escalate the charge. The source says the priests accused Jesus of claiming to be king of the Jews.
Ah, that's treason.
That is a direct political challenge to the Roman emperor. If you claim to be a king, you are a rebel against Rome.
They reframe the religious issue as a political threat. They force Pilate's hand.
They demand a judgment and condemnation. And Pilate, despite whatever misgivings he might have had, sentences Jesus
to be punished and crucified.
Crucifixion. We hear that word a lot, but we should clarify what it meant in the Roman world.
It wasn't just a method of execution.
No, it was a public billboard of state terror. It was a torture device intended to humiliate the victim and terrify the general population.
It was reserved for slaves, pirates, and rebels. It sent a very clear message. This is what happens when you cross Rome.
And the execution itself. The source gives us some stark details about the setting.
He was crucified between two thieves, one on the left, one on the right.
So he dies surrounded by criminals. In the eyes of the Roman state, he is just another bandit on a hill.
And the text states simply, dying on the cross.
But there's a detail about confirming the death. A soldier puncturing his side with a spear.
They didn't want any ambiguity.
They had to be absolutely sure. This wasn't a coma. This wasn't a swoon. The text is making it clear that he was biologically dead.
But then the environment reacts. The source notes supernatural phenomena at the exact moment of death.
An earthquake. Immediate eruption upon his death.
The ground literally shakes.
And the tombs, the graves, breaking open.
That is a haunting image. It's like the death of this figure broke the container of the world itself.
It suggests that something fundamental in the universe had shifted. The death of this divine figure caused the earth to convulse.
His body is then taken down and placed in a tomb. And historically speaking, for any normal biography, that should be the end of the book.
For any other historical rebel, it would be. He died, he was buried, his followers scattered in fear. The end.
But the source has a body, section 6. Resurrection and legacy.
The timeline moves forward. 3 days after death.
The empty tomb. The discovery is made that the tomb is empty. And the source doesn't leave it as a mystery, like someone stole the body.
It states the cause explicitly. He had risen from the dead.
And he proves it. The text details post-resurrection appearances.
First appearance to Mary Magdalene.
Which is interesting historically that a woman is listed as the very first witness to the resurrection.
It is. In a patriarchal society, if you were making up a story to gain credibility, you wouldn't typically use a female witness as your primary source.
Second appearance to his mother, Mary.
And then the third appearance to the disciples.
Imagine that room. The last time they saw him, he was being arrested. They are likely in hiding, terrified the soldiers are coming for them next.
And suddenly, he is there among them, alive.
And he doesn't just say hello and disappear. He gives them a job. The final instructions.
A great commission.
What is the specific order?
Advising the disciples to travel the world and preach the gospel to all humanity.
To all humanity. That is a massive expansion of scope.
It started in a manger in Judea. Then it was the hills of Galilee. Then the streets of Jerusalem.
The entire world. It changes from a localized narrative to a universal one.
And then the final departure. The ascension.
Occurring 40 days later at Mount Olivet. The source says he ascended into heaven, leaving the physical plane entirely.
And the source wraps up with some concrete historical markers to ground the narrative.
Death dates placed around Anno Domini 30 or 33.
And his age at death.
33.
A very short life.
Extremely short. Alexander the Great died young too, but he spent his life conquering the world with vast armies.
Jesus died young, never commanded an army, was executed as a state criminal, and yet...
The foundation. The text notes that Christianity is based entirely on his life and teachings as presented in the New Testament.
It's an incredible narrative arc when you view it from end to end.
From the humble birth, the hidden childhood, the explosive public ministry, the betrayal, the execution, to the resurrection.
And throughout it all, that core tension we talked about, the conflict between popular acclaim, the people wanting a Messiah, and the established authority of the elders and Pilate.
The power of radical love versus the power of the Roman sword.
And the source leaves us with one final definitive quote. It really sums up the absolute claim he was making.
I'm the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me.
It's exclusive. It's a bold line in the sand. It forces a decision from the listener. You can't really be neutral about a statement like that.
No. You have to decide if the source's claim is true or false. It doesn't leave any room for just viewing him as a polite moral teacher.
Exactly.
So here's a closing thought for you, the listener, as we wrap up this deep dive today. We've looked at the timeline, we've unpacked the miracles and the severe political conflict.
But think about the alchemy of it all.
How did a message of love your enemy, delivered by a man who was publicly executed by the state in a backwater province, manage to overturn that very empire and become the foundation of a major world religion?
It's the ultimate question of history. The sheer endurance of this narrative, despite all the forces arrayed against it, is a phenomenon worth exploring on your own.
Absolutely. Thank you for listening to The Deep Dive.
Goodbye.